They said he acted alone. But let me ask you something. What if one of the most powerful banks in the world actually helped bankroll a sex trafficker for over a decade? JPMorgan Chase, the biggest bank in the US, just paid $75 million to the US Virgin Islands, the same place Jeffrey Epstein owned a private island used to sexually exploit underage girls. But let's be real, this settlement is just the tip of a very dark iceberg. Epstein wasn't some lone predator operating in the shadows. He had help, and not from just anybody, but from people in suits, inside boardrooms, behind closed doors. So let's break this down. Epstein had dozens of accounts at JPMorgan. This man wasn't some random client. He was moving millions, pitching deals, even bringing in elite clients to the bank. And in return, JPMorgan looked the other way. He was withdrawing hundreds of thousands in cash, sometimes $750K at a time. And they just let it happen, no questions, no oversight. They just kept him as a client until 2013, 5 years after he was already a registered sex offender. How does that happen? Because when it comes to power and money, rules bend. Virgin Islands Attorney General Ariel Smith said it flat out. JPMorgan was complicit. They helped Epstein move money, dodge compliance, and maintain that fake image of legitimacy. And Epstein, he was playing chess while everyone else played checkers. The man lent the Virgin Islands governor $200K, employed his wife for over 20 years, and paid over $600K in private school tuition for their kids. That's not kindness, that's control. Let that sink in. Now, here's where the $75 million goes. $10 million for victim mental health services, $25 million to fight human trafficking, $20 million to local charities, and $20 million for legal fees. Sounds noble, right? But don't forget, JPMorgan made $128 billion last year. To them, $75 million is a rounding error. And when you zoom out, they've now paid out $365 million just to clean up the Epstein mess. And that's not all. They try to blame Jess Staley, one of their top dogs. This guy had a weirdly close relationship with Epstein. Emails between them referenced Snow White. They were strange messages and even suggestive photos. They settled that behind closed doors, quietly. But get this, some JPMorgan execs were still meeting with Epstein even after they cut ties in 2013. Why? Because Epstein wasn't just charming, he was dangerous. He didn't just make friends, he compromised people, brought them into this world, his lifestyle, and when they slipped, he had leverage. That's not just manipulation, that's blackmail. Let's not forget, Deutsche Bank paid the same $75 million to settle similar charges earlier this year. And there may be more banks, more executives, more names. JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon has apologized. But is that really enough? These weren't accidental oversights. They were choices, strategic ones, made by people who either didn't care what Epstein was doing or worse, benefited from it. The truth is, Epstein was never alone. He had help from billionaires, politicians, intelligence agencies, and yes, big banks. This case isn't about one monster. It's about the system that let him thrive. So the next time you hear the media say, "It's over," or "Justice has been served," ask yourself, what else haven't they told us? If this opened your eyes, do me a favor, like this video, share it before it disappears or gets flagged, and hit that subscribe button. Because the cover-up is always worse than the crime. And remember, You're either the lion or the sheep.